Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Honorable, the lecturer of academic presentation lesson in this third semester, Mr. Bambang Irawan SSMPD, and my beloved friends. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, in this final test, we're going to create a video to present to you a presentation about should the police do New Year's Eve check-up?
New Year's Eve is usually used by most people for vacation and even gather in certain place. The situation often creates problems afterwards, especially this year we are in a situation of COVID-19 pandemic. Some time ago, cases of COVID-19 have increased. Therefore, a small crowd can add a positive case in COVID-19. Approaching New Year's Eve 2021, police in Jabodetabek areas are preparing to carry out raids on places where people usually visit on New Year's Eve. This step was taken aimed at reducing crowd, avoiding traffic jams, and staying away from criminal acts.
This virus called Corona or COVID-19 is still become our major problem, even after the disease spread more than 1 year. The number of people who was infected are still extremely high, and this issue is still affecting our daily life till this day. And one of the issues that we faced recently is the gathering people during New Year's Eve. If the people still go outside and gathering in the same place during New Year's Eve, it can causes the numbers of people who infected become more high than before, and the recovery situation will take more and more time. For instance, during this holiday and New Year's Eve, the number of those who was infected are increased, and according to Kompas TV on December 15, 2020, they stated that the increased traffic flow that occurred in the city of Semarang during COVID-19 pandemic had to be taken seriously by the public. After all, the crowds occurring in the sections of the street will later create a new cluster in the spread of the COVID-19. To that end, the solution to implement restriction on public activities was felt effective by the head of transportation services to reduce public activity. Within the pandemic. And another proof that this situation is taken seriously by the authorities is according to Kompas.com on January 9, 2021. They stated that the authorities in Karawang will close again Galuh Mas area and Town Square. This area is getting closed because people usually use this place, and the authorities afraid it will creating a crowd.
Traffic itself is a set state until flow of traffic stops. Generally, this condition results from the buildup of more vehicles than the road can afford. There is much traffic in major cities in Indonesia, much less if the city has no public transportation and adequate traffic systems. Not only that, congestion can also be caused by an enormous number of people or residents, such as the capital of Jakarta. In this year, in the New Year's Eve 31st of December 2020, the government took an action to patrol capital city and some of other cities as well. The aim is to keep people in check through life during this pandemic. There is the risk when the government wouldn't take this action. Imagine when the government wouldn't take this action. Congestion in everywhere, jamming of vehicles everywhere, and the crowd absolutely also. This will increase the spread of COVID-19 is increasing. The province payment Tamrin is implementing heavy control along the Sudirman Tamrin Road, Central Jakarta, on the eve of the turn of the year. According to Sambodo, the 1st of December 2020, all the points will be collected from 8 p.m. to 1 p.m. This was done in anticipation of a crowd of citizens celebrating the turn of the year. If this wasn't done, the traffic will be sculpting. Each road is packed by a crowd of people plus a lot of vehicles. Well, to me, this is the right way what the government acted in this new year. Effort to avoid the rush. Hence, New Year's Eve activity was abolished. This is case of arrival of COVID-19. The Governor Bebel Erzaldi Rasman Johan says all the chiefs agreed no New Year's Eve crowd or parties. Erzaldi said that this is our togetherness. We do not want New Year's Eve activities. We'll add a positive case surge in our province, especially when these spikes keep happening. 31st of December 2020. Also, police of Java forbids an annual night of both fireworks and procession in anticipation of disorder of Kamtimas and evaluation of health protocol. The monitoring of Indonesian media has been conducted by hundreds of joint officers from local police station, transportation services to police stations in some parts of central Java, such as Blora and Rembang, to heavy protection in the region that borders the East Java province.
The New Year 2021 in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, number of local governments have banned the 2021 New Year celebration so that there is no spike in positive cases of corona. The New Year 2021 is certain to be different from previous years. The New Year's 2021 celebration is characterized by a number of regulations because Indonesia is still facing a pandemic. Some mandatory activities during the New Year, such as fireworks parties, entertainment stakes, and others, will not be allowed because they can cause crowds. Jakarta, the government continues to look for ways to prevent an increase in cases of coronavirus disease or COVID-19 after the Christmas and New Year 2021 holidays. Therefore, efforts and firm steps are taken by issuing a ban on crowding and celebrating New Year's in public places. This decision was taken at the COVID-19 handling coordination meeting in DKI Jakarta, West Java, Central Java, East Java, and Bali virtually at the Maritime Office on Monday, December 14, 2020. The coordinating Minister for Maritime Affairs and Investment, Menko Marves Luhut Binsar Panjaitan, said that the implementation of this tightening could start on 18 December 2020 to 8 January 2021. He realized that This policy was taken because there was still a significant increase in cases, which continued after the holidays and lived together at the end of October. One of the reasons the police conduct checks on New Year's Eve is to avoid criminal acts, because a lot of what often happens when someone is doing New Year's Eve events outside the home, and when they want to go home, they are robberies and others. So that all this does not happen. The police must carry out an examination on New Year's Eve, especially if someone celebrates the New Year by drinking alcohol, drunkenness, drug, and so on. That is one reason the police have to carry out an investigation. This crime is very frequent and very dangerous. To avoid it, stick to government rules by not crowding and not celebrating New Year's Eve outside the house.
This action in bringing order to society is very appropriate. Public health is a priority than a small celebration of New Year's Eve. Stay at home on the New Year's Eve. During the COVID-19 pandemic, it is better to stay at home, gathering and joking in the warmth of your family than hang out outside. All of this aims to reduce crowds, avoid traffic jams, and stay away from criminal acts. In addition, for the sake of mutual health and safety, we have to comply with the health protocol implemented by the government. So keep your family warm and stay healthy. Okay? Thank you for your attention, and thank you so much to Mr. Bombs, who has been advising and providing knowledge to us in this semester. So forgive us for our mistake, and thank you so much. Always keep your healthy, and see you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.